All right, Georgia fans, I know you're upset about losing the SEC championship to Alabama and how bad that game actually was, but I think that for Georgia fans, for really everyone, it's time to start really looking past that game and look forward to the Orange Bowl against Michigan. Ryan Curley from Dog Post here, bringing you all the details, my opinion on this topic, and make sure you're going to dogpost.com and subscribing. All right, so guys, I know that everyone is upset. I read a lot of the comments in these videos. People are mad. People are want JT to start. People don't understand how the defense. Yeah, the Alabama game was a bad show for Georgia. By far the worst that they played all year. Do we really think that they can play worse than that? Is kind of my question here. I don't know. I don't think they really are going to play worse than that. But what's important is that if it's for a fan base, is that you guys don't dwell too much on what happened Saturday night in the SEC championship game. Now I have a lot of issues with what happened. Just analyzing Georgia, I've gone back and watched the tape in detail, and there were tons of mistakes both by the players and by the coaches. And I think at the end of the day, Nick Saban and his guys were ready. I think that Nick Saban outcoached Kirby Smart in that game. But, you know, a lot of life is about moving forward, and I'm not going to sit here and give you guys a life lesson. But I really think that it's more important to look towards the Orange Bowl and look towards the opportunity that Georgia has. I don't know how many years it's been since Georgia's been in the Orange Bowl. It's been a really long time. Georgia never plays Michigan. This is a big game. This is the feature game at night. And, you know, just like, is the team going to be ready for the moment? Are you guys ready for the moment and to cheer on your dogs? I know that what happened was bad against Alabama on Saturday night. I was there. I covered the game. I've gone back and watched the tape. There was a list. I honestly might make a video separately about this, what went wrong. You know, I might do that next. I'm sure you guys will enjoy that. But you guys got to support the dogs if you're dogs fans, and I'm not saying that you aren't, but I'm saying it's more important to look towards the Michigan game and look towards it as an opportunity for Georgia to win a New Year's Six bowl game, to win a playoff semifinal game against the hottest team in the country in Michigan, who's been dominating the last few weeks. They blew the brakes off Iowa State. They completely shut down Iowa 42-3 in the Big Ten championship. They have a physical defense. They have who is right now the number one prospect in the 2022 NFL draft in their defensive end, in Aiden Hutchinson. You have an opportunity to redeem yourself here and to beat Michigan and to go out there and win an important ball game and make it back to the championship, whether that be against Alabama or Cincinnati. I would assume that that's going to be Alabama. And if that's the case, then you have an opportunity to beat Alabama again. Because I tell you what, Alabama may have been the better team on Saturday night, but who's to say that they're going to be the better team on January 10th? But my point is not that. My point is December 31st at 7:30 Eastern Time, the Dogs are going to face off against Michigan, and that's where our focus should be for the next few weeks is how is Georgia going to do against Michigan? How are they going to be prepared for this moment? How are they going to respond from getting absolutely punched in the mouth against Alabama on Saturday? 41-24 is the final score. I know Dean kind of disagrees with me on this, but that game felt like it was more of a blowout than it actually was. It just, for a long time in there, I just got this feeling that Georgia was not going to win that game. Not from the beginning. Obviously, they were up 10-0. They were up 10-7. But Alabama was really in control of that ball game from the moment that they scored that touchdown. It felt like Alabama had control of the ball game. That first touchdown, the long one to Jameson Williams. And I think it's time not to forget about that. Obviously, it's hard to do that. Alabama's been Georgia's big brother for a while. They have dominated Georgia in huge games. Not dominated, but they have beat Georgia in huge games. This would be the fourth huge game that they beat them in the last decade. The first one being the 2012 SEC championship. Alabama finds a way to escape. The 2017 year, but the 2018 national championship, Alabama escapes from Georgia in that game in overtime, the famous 2nd and 26. And then obviously in the SEC championship, Jalen Hurts comes in and saves the day in 2018. And then you got what was more of a beatdown this time. It's time to forget about that. Obviously, it's difficult to forget about that, but they're gonna as much as Georgia needs to use that to fuel themselves for this playoff run. I think that the fan base needs to fuel it as let's go beat Michigan. All right, I saw pictures on social media last night. There's kids running around campus putting the X the way that Ohio State does, putting X's on the M's all over campus. I think that the fan base is starting to get ready. Are you ready to beat Michigan is my question. I just think that it's more important to look forward to the Michigan game. But Georgia has an opportunity to win the national championship still. That's still on the table. You got 2 games. You got to beat Michigan and you got to beat whoever's there, whether it be Alabama or Cincinnati. But Georgia's not out of this. Georgia's one of the 4 teams that can win the national championship no matter what happened on Saturday. And if you really think that Georgia's not going to fix a lot of their issues, then I kind of disagree. I mean, let's see how good a coach and how good of players these guys are, but I think that there's a lot of room for improvement, and I think that Kirby Smart seems to be in a really good mood after they lost. On Sunday, I was shocked with how good of spirits he was in. I think in a way he really likes that they got punched in the face and that they lost that game. Obviously, his number one goal is to win that game, but I think that he kind of likes that they had true adversity, and maybe he thinks his guys are going to really respond to that. I think that's a big possibility. But you got 2 games. You got to beat Michigan and then beat whoever's after. And the Georgia Bulldogs can be national champions, something they can't say they've been for over 40 years. And I know that as fans, you want it. Look, I have this job. I try to keep my bias out of it. I'm a student at UGA. Of course, I root for the Dogs. I try to keep all of that out of it when I'm working and when I'm covering the team. And honestly, I try to keep that out of it in these videos. But yeah, I'm part of the Georgia Bulldog fan base, and I think that it's way more important to look forward to the Michigan game. How can Georgia beat Michigan? Let's start looking at this in a positive light. Georgia got the crap beat out of them by Alabama. Okay, you could face them again. How are you going to respond? I think that's what we need to be focusing on. I'm not saying that it wasn't a bad game, that obviously it sucked to lose to Alabama. I get that. But just dwelling on that and not even thinking about the fact that you have an opportunity to beat a really good Michigan team in the Orange Bowl, a game that Georgia barely ever goes to. I think they've only ever been 3 or 4 times. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. As Kirby Smart says, are you going to attack the day? I mean, listen, and I know me and Dean the other day called some of you guys we didn't shout out anyone in particular. But the delusionals, it's just, I think that him and I probably both agree, it's just time to focus on Michigan. This is a national championship contending team in the Georgia Bulldogs, and they can still get it done. And we have to wait and see if they'll get it done. But the opportunity is still there. They can go grab it. They can go be the best team in the country and finally hold that trophy up for the first time in, 41, 42 years. That's still on the table for Georgia, and I think that's what needs to be the focus now. Let's see if the delusionals leave comments that disagree with me, but that's how I feel. Dogpost.com, guys.